Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be a special video. This is to celebrate the channel reaching 101 subscribers. Now I know 101 subscribers isn't a lot to some people out there, but it is a fantastic feat for myself. For those of you that watch my channel regularly, anyway, for those that watch it, you know, always, you'll know that I don't put out a lot of regular content. I've done a couple of run videos where I've done some custom body shells, put them on a CW01 chassis. I've taken them into work, I've given them a blast around the warehouse. I've done a couple of technical videos, and I've done a couple of project update videos. But there's one thing on this channel that I haven't done, and that is a build video. So to celebrate my 101 subscribers, I'm going to do a build video. Now, although you can see this G6-01 manual in front of you, I'm not going to be building a G6-01. I'm not going to be building this up a 6-wheel drive. What I'm going to do is I'm going to build this chassis up to rear-wheel drive only. There are plenty of 6-wheel drive videos out there on YouTube. Pete Wiley built the Volvo A60H dump truck. Mark Bryan built a Kong head. Jake Billings built a Tamiya Dyna head. And the Green Man built up the King Yellow. So there were plenty of other videos out there, and those are just a few that I've mentioned. So if you want to see a 6x6 being built, go over to their channel. But if you want to see me convert this to rear-wheel drive, and I'm going to build it to rear-wheel drive, I've got a few parts here, as you can see, and I am using the Volvo yellow chassis as a base. You could use the black Kong head chassis, or you could even use a Dyna head chassis if you really want to do that. Now, although I'm going to be building this up as rear-wheel drive, there are going to be quite a few steps that I'm going to miss out in this manual. So let me show you. This manual is to tell you how to build it up as a 6x6. So the first section is charging the battery. Well, I'm not going to charge the battery because no one wants to sit around and watch a battery charge up for an hour. So I'll charge the battery up when I come to do the electrics. Now the second part in this here, it tells you to take parts E2 and E3 and connect them into these little slots. So let me show you E2 and E3, which are these parts. You get the long bit, E2 and E3, which is a little part, and they go into the side of the chassis, which is here. So when you turn the chassis upside down, let me make sure I get the right part. No, not that one. So many bits of this build. Right, so as you can see, so you've got the chassis, and you have to put the short part in there and the long part in there. Okay, no, not going to do that, because those parts are for only if you're going to be running the middle lower A arm and the top arm and the suspension. So we won't be doing that. Now on this chassis, on this part, what I've done is I've used some of this yellow styrene window, and I've cut little bits off and I've glued them into place. One at the bottom here, one there, and one at the top there. And the reason is because the part that goes in there is what you would bolt the suspension shock absorber to. Now in this build, I've glued in a plastic 1150 bush into the middle axle setup, and also from where the motor goes in here, on the parts that on the cogs that I'm not going to be using, I've also cut off a little bit of yellow plastic window and glued it over the holes. I've glued in a plastic 1150 bush into the front, and then I've cut out a piece of yellow plastic window and glued it on the outside. Now I've done that on both halves of the chassis, and the reason for that is because, like I say, I'm not going to be using the middle axle setup, and I'm not going to be using a front axle setup either. And the reason for that is because the choice of body shell that I'm going to use on this chassis, I need to try and replicate a rear wheel drive RC car. Now in real life the car would have been produced in the late 1960s, and it went through production all the way through the 1970s, and it ended production in the middle to late 1980s. There were so many variants of the model of the car, and the engine power plant ranged from 1300cc all the way up to Rover V8 3.5 litre 3500cc, and there were quite a few different race car versions of that iconic shell, that iconic motor car. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and replicate one of those iconic race cars into RC style. So hopefully you'll hang around and you'll see those bits being built. Okay, so like we say, section 2 is E2 and E3. They go in, we're not doing that. Section 3 is building up the lower arm and the top arm there, but again we're not going to be doing that either. So here we go, over to section 4, making up a differential. Just adjust the camera there. Okay, now it says here make 3. Well, I don't need to make 3, I only need to make 1, because I'm only having 1 differential. Now also you'll see step 5, it says where you've made the 3 differentials you need to put 1 in the front, 1 in the centre and 1 in the rear. Well, I'm only going to make up 1 differential. I've got my diff housing here, I've got my cover, and I've got 1 set of diff cogs. Let's get all these parts out. And my choice of grease for today is going to be my big tub of Comma multi-purpose grease. And the reason I use this is because it is lithium based. Let's get the lid off. Ooh, look at that, people. Grease. Lovely. Okay. Right. Bear with me. Yes, you need to get this washer, splodge a load of grease on it, and then you need to get this part, according to the book, splodge that in some grease as well, put the 2 bits together. Okay, and then we're going to, oh man, got greasy fingers. Okay, and then we're going to plonk that down into the middle of there. Splendid. 1 second, let me just get a tissue. For intent purposes, we'll use good old Kleenex toilet roll. Okay, now next up, I've got the back of a paintbrush here. I'm going to get the grease, splodge it in the back now. Probably the wrong thing to use, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about that. I'm going to do the same thing. Just whack it in there. Sometimes I'd rather have more grease in there than I would have anything else. Okay, you can see I made a quite hash of that, but that's alright because it's a first time for everything. Right, next up, spider gear, spider cog thing. Splodge that on, whack 1 of these on. What way does it go? Okay, little cog on first. Just cake that again in grease. Another little spider gear. Ooh, now it's looking like something. Now I'm not going to lock this diff up. This diff is going to be open because I do believe that the car made in real life would have had an open diff as well. Now that's all done, then we just strategically place it. Oh no. Oh, you dog. It's a screwdriver. Yeah. If everything can go wrong, it's going wrong now. That's alright, we get round it. No builds are ever straightforward. Okay, we've got plenty of crap in there. My finger to wipe. Oh, excuse my arm in the way. Okay, next blob of grease. Let's just whack that on top. Oh man. Yeah, let's just make sure they do go round. Yeah, sometimes more is better than less. Okay, next up. Ooh, we've got another cog. Sometimes you need 3 pairs of hands to do this. Whack some grease on there. I'll tell you, when I did a trial run video, it just went swimmingly well. Now you're doing it on camera, it's just going tits up. Okay, whack that in there. Nothing ever goes straight forward. I'll get more shit on my hands than what I'm getting in the gearbox. Sit down, you donkey. Right, yeah, and then this last washer, we just give that a liberal dosing of grease. Whack it in there like so. Just a screwdriver to realign it. What are you barking at? Shut up. Okay, so far so good. Now we're going to get the cover on, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that will just go tits up for me again. Why isn't that closing? Hold on. Ah, maybe that's why. Plum. Alright, so let's have another go. Ah, look at that, wicked. And that's just the cover. Okay. One down, one to go. Now, I'm not actually going to be making up another one of these. I'm only, like I say, I'm only doing the rear diff. Because that is all I need to do. Hold on, dog's coming up. Comfortable? Comfortable? I'll show you. Comfortable? Sitting there like that, smiling? Excellent. Right, she's comfortable. Now I'll carry on. Right, so I need to get the screws out. And it says to use 10mm. I've got some 10mm somewhere. I should have got these out first of all. Okay, there we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm not going to be putting 6 screws in one diff cover. 6. Okay, so let's put them in. Ooh, we're getting there. Where's the big screwdriver? Yep, I know I'm not using a Tamiya G6 screwdriver either, because I don't need to. I'm using this screwdriver that I took out of my Volkswagen. It's rubber handled. Ooh, we all like a good rubber now and then, don't we? Okay, yeah, so, and that's the 3 screws. Ooh, do it up. Ooh, do it up. And ooh, do it up. Just, oh man, look, could have done up a bit more. Bit more. And last one, bit more. Right, I'll put that back down there. Okay, so there's one diff built up. Oh no, it just took a bit of time. Now the next diff, obviously, this one is going to be, oh, wrong end. As you can see, this one has got nothing in it. And I'm not going to put anything in it because all I need is the casing. So, yes, I am going to put some screws in there. And that's going to be these 3. The 3 that I dug out with them 3. Okay. Now, I could super glue those in, but I'm not going to. Because all I need to do is keep it rear wheel drive. Oh, it's going in pissed. Man. Maybe I should invest in a magnetic screwdriver at some point. But, you know, just sometimes I feel like throwing my hands up in the air. Anyway, so, oh, gosh. Now, let's just give them one more whip up. Whip. Okay, now that's done. Now we're going to move on to section 5. Move the grease out of the way, because I know what'll happen. I'll end up putting my elbow in it. Don't need that plastic window. Now, as you can see, section 5 is putting the diffs in. But before I do that, I'm going to move on to section 6, and I'm going to get the idler gears and the counter gears. Now, although I'm using yellow differentials, I've got black counter gears and idler gears. Doesn't really matter what colour gears you use, because once the chassis is bolted together, you're not going to see them anyway. So I don't suppose it really matters. Oh, not losing all my bearings. We've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. What we got? 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. One box over and done with. Move on to the next one. 10, 11, 12. You can see why I don't do build videos, because I just get flustered with everything. So let's plonk them in. If you want to, if I'm using rubber sealed bearings, it's because that's all the bearings I've got at the moment. No, that one's come out straight away. If you're going to build this up and not expect fast run times, you would just build it up with plastic bushes in. But we all know that those plastic bushes aren't worth a rub, and the only thing they're fit for is the bin. So if you get metal bearings, use them, and if you haven't and you want to build one of these up as a static display model, then plastic bushes is the way to go, if you know full well you're never ever gonna run them. Okay, so let's do this part of the chassis. Now this is where the intricate bit comes into it. We're using this part. Oh, need to get another bearing out. What's going on? Right, another 2 bearings I need to get out. Okay, so one bearing is going to go into the back of this side of the chassis, and that is where I'm going to place the rear diff. Ooh. Now comes the fun part. Before I put that in, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grease that up. There's my tub of grease, and I'm just going to smear that all over like so. Makes no odds whatsoever. It doesn't really have to, yeah, it's just whack it on. I'm probably making more mess than what I really should, but to be honest with you, it doesn't really matter. And let's just plonk that bit in there. Wipe all this crap off my fingers. Well, it's not crap. Well, it is crap. It's just good crap. Okay. Now, this one, I'm actually going to use a brush on this one. I'm going to build this up. I'm going to grease this up, I mean. Depending as to how much you want to put on. Do that in front of the camera. Yeah, I don't really do build videos. I just usually just build it and then take them out for a hack. But as I've reached 100 subscribers, I think that it's only fair that I give my subscribers something to watch, which is quite exciting actually, because if I can pull this one off, then there's no real reason as to why I couldn't be able to do another build on camera. But you know, it all depends as to what goes my way and what doesn't. Right, so what I'll do is I'll position that in place there. Now let me show you of this. Use this bolt that I got. Get a spanner out. Now, let me just take this apart and I'll explain to you what I'm going to do. So, this is a piece of 5mm inner diameter plastic hose, and it's an 8mm diameter outer hose. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this 40mm bolt through this centre housing. Let me take that cog out and I'll show you what I'm going to do. So this 40 bolt goes through the housing. There's a 5mm aerial cap, bit of aerial tube on there, and it sits inside. And what I need to do is then put this bit of 3mm rubber tube on with a little bit of masking tape on the outside, followed by this bit of rubber tube, the plastic pipe, and then put the cog over it. And what that does is it centralises, get in there, it centralises that cog, because all I need to do is keep that cog straight. See, it's still turned round, but all I need to do is just centralise the cog so it can turn round. Then I need to put on another little 5mm bit of aerial tube, and that aerial tube will then sit inside the plastic bush on the other side of the chassis. We've got the lock nut and the washer. Okay, now we've done all those bearings as well, and those cogs. Okay, move these bits over. We're not going to need them just yet. Right, turn the page. Oh, bear with me, people. Okay, now comes the fun part of putting all the cogs in. So we're going to use the, they're the long ones. We're going to use these small posts, which are 34mm, and we'll put them into the chassis like so. Oh. So these will go in, and these are the idler gears, I think. Yeah, these bigger ones. We've got these, and I'm just going to smother them in good old fashioned lithium grease, and they will plonk down over the top like so. Oh man, yeah, it doesn't really matter, just whack the grease on. Again, just smother that one with some good old lithium based grease, and again that one will go on like so. Once we slide it over, so as you can already see, these are turning round, which is what I want. Doesn't really matter whether there's grease on there or not, it's all going to do the same thing. And then the last one, I'm going to smother that in grease. Sometimes less is more, but other times too much is too much. And again, so we've got a nice blob of grease on there, and that's going to go in between the middle idler gear and that pulley there. So with this diff, you can turn it round. As you can see, they all work, they all go round, which is what I'm looking for. They all need to work. Okay, next up, dun dun dun, we're getting there, a bit like British Wayne. Yeah, so next up is the big cog, the 50mm. So the 50mm goes into this one, and then we've got a smaller one that goes into that one, and then we've got the last small one which goes into that one. Ooh, I hope you're all with me so far, people. Okay, and what we need to do is going back up to this step, number 7, turn that for you. Then we have to put the big counter gear in. So let me just grease that up. Now all the parts that I got for this build are all parts. They didn't come out of a kit. I ordered all of these parts separately so I could do this build. So this is a separate build. So if you like, you could call this a Bitzer build. Now, we put the big cog. Well, that don't look right. That's because I put that cog in the wrong hole. Oh, you plum. Oh, look. That still doesn't matter, because doesn't matter how much of a cock up you make on it. As long as you do it and you have fun doing it, don't worry about what anyone else says. We'll put the big one in there. Okay, we'll just swap that back over and we'll put the big one in there like it's supposed to be in there. And then the bearing gets stuck on the end. It's alright, we'll just push that back in, no problem. Okay, now the next one up is this medium one. Medium one has to go in upside down. So again, just going to grease it up. Oh man, that fucking bearing fell out. Are you having a fucking laugh? That little one must go in there. Nope, that's got to have a big one as well. I'll take that out. We'll put a big one in there then. Oh yeah, I see. I've made a mistake there because I thought the little one went. But as I'm not using any more cogs from when the motor goes in forward, it really makes no odds. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll push that bearing on, as soon as it won't stay in the cog, and then we'll push this bit on. Just finish greasing it up. Nope. Still didn't get it right first time round. Oh, you donkey, look. It's because I'm trying to walk and I'm not even walking. I'm not. Right, let's have another go. I know this is my first time, so just bear with me. This is probably why I don't do build videos, because I just can't get everything to work properly all in one hit. But you know, there's a first time for everything, and whether it be me cocking it up first time or making any mistakes, don't worry about it. Everyone makes mistakes. Nobody's perfect. We're only human. So let's have a quick spin round of the cogs, make sure they all work. Yep, look, as you can see, they all turn round. That's fantastic. Okay, so far so good. Now the last cog to go in is this little baby one. So just grease this back up. I could shoot them neighbours. Building work on a Saturday afternoon. Fucking sacrilege. Shouldn't be done. Right, so let's just poke that one in there. Come on. Give it a little bit of wiggle. Little bit of wiggle, wiggle. There we go. Little bit of wiggle. That's all we need. So I'll do it again just to show you all that all these cogs go round, and they do all go round in the gearbox, which is fantastic. So far so good. Now the next step, number 8, is again putting those E2 and E3 parts into the chassis, which I'm not going to be doing because I'm not building it up as a 6x6, remember. Wipe that grease off of there, and then we turn it over, and then it says making up the arms for the upper half of the chassis, putting in the other parts. No, all I need to put in is the bearing for the other side of the chassis. And one last thing I do need to do, oh, bottom cough there, and that is to a line of grease around the outside of this part. I might just do that with my finger, mightn't I? Hopefully this will stop any crap from getting in the gearbox, but first time for everything. So hopefully this will work, and if it doesn't, it'll just be back to the drawing board again. Okay, so yeah, I don't know how people find the confidence to do build videos. Oh yeah, I know what it is. It's because they got an editor and they cut out all the mistakes. And as you can see, I've made plenty of mistakes, but you know what? It doesn't really matter, because this is a learning process. Nobody ever gets it right first time, and if they do, they've got a photo editor so they can cut out all the mistakes and everything looks hunky-dory and perfect how it's supposed to be. Well, on my channel, I'll make as many mistakes as I can, because like I say, it's a process that we all have to go through. Okay, so now we have to get the two halves together. So hopefully this will work right. Yeah, the only thing I really need to do is to line everything up. So if I line up the centre differential, come on, if you're going to go right for once, do it now. Ah, yeah, look at that. Ah, well, no, maybe not. Look at that. Ah, ta-da! Look at that. Sweet. Now that's gone together. Now, as you can see there, there's the bolt that holds the centre differential in. So all I need to do really is put that washer on. Oh, I've got greasy fingers. Probably get greasy fingers from eating too much KFC. It's the same sort of thing, except you can't eat this grease, because if you did, you'd have a bellyache and your toilet would be doing overtime. Okay, and now we're going to put the Allen key in the back. Dun, dun, dun. And then we're going to do up this nut on the front. Now hopefully that will hold it all together. Don't do it up mega tight. All you need to do is just do it up so the cog can still turn round. And that's good enough. That's on there, sweet. Now all I need to do is just add some bolts. Now it tells you in the manual, excuse me, tells you in the manual here to use 10mm screws. See there, 10mm screws. I'm going to be using these 10mm Allen key bolts. And they go in one there, one down there, one in there when it goes in. Just might be easier for me just to get the tub out. So you see I've got 10mm and 20mm in there. One in there. One in the bottom there. Yeah, these screws go all over the place. I've already dropped that tub of bolts already once today. I don't really fancy dropping it again and picking them up. Anyway, whilst I'm screwing all these forward, you might want to fast forward the video until you get to the very end. Cool, that's going in a long way. Ah, that's better. Right. Next up, yeah, I've built up a couple of these G6-01s before. I've got a couple of Camtech bodied G6-01s. I've got the King Yellow school bus, but obviously it's not a king yellow, because I'm doing a themed delivery van, a themed delivery build for that one. And I also have a Tamiya diner head which I'm building up again, which is not going to be silver, as I painted the body a different colour. I think the problem with going box art is that when you all have kits the same colour, you all go out over the park together, you don't know who's whose. So by doing mine a different colour, I thought it would stand out a bit better. And also I've got to tell you that that diner head has got some pink glitter on it, so yeah, definitely no worries about that being mistaken for somebody else's over the park. Got another screw there that fell out. Okie dokie. Got a hair there. Dog's moved. Didn't want to sit there anymore, matey, now. I've got Laffy laying on the floor. Yeah, it must be cooler for her. I'll just give that a quick nip up. Oh man, it doesn't look like that one's going to go in very far. Anyway, let's do a couple more up this end. Got one in there to go. Oh, no, that's a 20mm. Oh, using that'd be a bit too long, that bolt. Turn this upside down, up this way rather. Okay, slowly getting there, slowly but surely, people. So yeah, I thought I'd do this build video to congratulate myself. I think what I need to do is edit the next video. But then if I do editing, I'm going to spend all day at the editor cutting stuff out, and you're not really going to get a full sense of real time when you're building something. Either that, or maybe invest, oh that's better, maybe invest in one of those Allen key socket things that's on a handle. Even better, get an electric drill and do it. Let's find another 10mm. Now where have we got to go? Down in this one down here. The only problem with doing these is that you get cramp after a while. Yeah, I think the good thing about this build is that although it's totally custom, it's just, I haven't seen anybody else build a G6-01 as if it was going to be rear wheel drive. So I think this could be a first. Well, a first for me anyway. I don't know about anybody else. Maybe people have built it up and they've just not filmed it. But the thing is, like I say, that I've scoured YouTube looking for build videos of how to do this. and I've got to say there's not one out there at all. Let's put that down so I can hold the Allen key. So if anybody else has built one of these up, or you know of someone that's built one up and it's rear wheel drive, please let me know in the comment section below. Or if you've built one up, then yeah, please let me know yourself as to whether you've built one up or not, because I would like to know what sort of complications you came across when building it. I do know, like, that the I've got to tell you, the front axle to the middle axle is 174 millimeters, and the middle axle to the rear axle is 126 millimeters, which would result in giving this a wheelbase of 300 millimeters. Now the choice of body shell that I've got to go on it is 307 millimeters. So when I come to do the suspension in the next video, I will be extending the front wheelbase by at least 5 mil, and the reason for that is because I need to make the wheels sort of line up with the wheelbase on the body shell. And we all like to have a short stumpy car, but it would be like the full body shell would be on a Ford Escort Mark 1 chassis. It would just look ridiculously small. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend the front suspension to accommodate the body shell. That's better. Just give it another nip. Yeah, not too much. Just give all these ones a nip. That's done. No, that's not done. Always something you miss. There, yeah, that's done. Okay, let's get this one done up. Alright, one more nip to whip back round. Oh, where's the hole? There we go. Right, that hole. That's not done either. Bloody hell. Come on, Smithy, sort it out. Yeah, the reason I don't film anything is because I like to take my time when I'm building gear. There's nothing worse than rushing to get something done, and then you find out you've missed half a dozen steps in the process. So looking at the manual here, just need to make sure that I've not missed out all the screws. So yeah, there's one to go down in here. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, I missed that one. Cock. But you know, that's just one of them things. It's best just to double check, make sure that you haven't missed anything. So sometimes it's better just to make sure, check it again and check it again. It's like when you're cutting stuff, you measure twice and cut once. And I made plenty of those mistakes with the lunchbox body shell. Just when you measure it and think, oh yeah, there's plenty of time, and all of a sudden you cut it and then you measure it again, it's like, hold on a minute, that's not right. Okay, so despite this wonderful chassis, like I say, it doesn't really matter about the colour. The reason I've gone for the yellow one is because it was the only one that was available. And I bought lots of spares from many different suppliers on eBay. So it makes no odds. You know, they're all going to go into here. They're all going to do the same thing. Basically, they're all going to work. So wipe that crap off my fingers for the moment. Okay, so let's just double check, make sure that they're all in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that looks like all the screws are in place. Okay, now we're going to turn the page over. Ooh, here we go. Look, we're getting in now. So, step 12 is putting the motor on. Ooh, that's a big bit. Okay, now I have got a motor here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this absolutely bog standard, nothing special, Mabuchi motor RS540, the 27 turn. Now I have already put on a 22 steel pinion. And it says in the book here that when you put the pinion on, you have to make sure that the gap is 14mm from the front of the pinion to the base, which I've done. Now, I don't have a motor plate, so what I've done is I've cut up this motor plate out of good old traditional. Now let me show you. I used a bit of this. It's Tesco's Jaffa Cakes twin pack box. I use a piece of that cardboard, and I'll show you. And here it is. Here's one I prepared earlier. They would have been the twin pack. Spongy foam. Okay. So, yes. Plonk that on over the top. It lines up with the holes. When I find the holes. Excellent. Right. Now, I'm going to be using, it says to use 25mm machine thread screws. I'm going to use these 25mm hex head bolts to hold it in, because I've basically used hex head bolts everywhere else on it. As you can see, I've got one hex head bolt on there that holds the centre chassis, the centre diff in place, and all the rest are on that side. So let me just line these screws up with the 20 hole, which is one there and one there. This is going to be fun, holding them in place and then trying to get the motor on. Okay, so I don't suppose it really matters what way this motor goes on, as long as it goes on, and you get the wires. So, blimey. Yeah, easier said than done. I'm sure there's some sort of knack to doing this, I think. Oh, is that one? That could be it. I could be wrong though. Yeah, this is why I don't do builds on camera. Let's just do that up and see if that's going in. Oh, lots of turning round, but no. No. Why can't anything just be so straightforward and plain? It works perfect off camera, but then as soon as you go on camera, nothing works perfect. It all just goes tits up. That feel like it's going in. Could be an awful lot of screwing going on now. Good job I'm not shouting and screaming about it. Come on, work, you slag. No, not going in. Okay. I know what you're thinking. Put a bit of lick behind it. If I can't get it in this way, it's not going to go in anyway, is it? Might help with the hole lined up, I suppose. Yeah, that might have something to do with it. Right, let's try again. Take 2. Come on. Is that going in? I don't know. I can't really see. There's a dirty great big chassis in the way. Oh, mate. Come on. Work for Daddy. Ah, no. You donkey cock. Alright, that hole's lined up. And that hole's lined up. And then all I need to do is get those holes lined up. Hold on, people, just bear with me because I don't even know what I'm doing. Yeah, I get that feeling like the lights are on but no one's in sort of scenario. And hey, no, I don't know. One, oh yeah, no, yeah. Oh, motherfucker. Hey, here we go. Right, yeah. I'm still going to curse you though. All I need to do now is not do that up fully and then just line up that other one. Oh, come on, you donkey. Alright, so that's not lined up, so let's just move it around a little bit. Yeah. Whoever said this was going to be a piece of piss on film, when I find out who you are, when I come round your house, I'm going to kick you in the ghoulies. It's not easy on film. It never, ever goes according to plan. Always something to not work for you. Yeah, do a build video. It'll be fun, they said. Yeah, you'll get the hang of it, they said. Well, I'm not getting the hang of it. And this is why I don't do build videos. Oh, come on, you... Well, I'm not going to count my chickens just yet. The frustration. That's what it is. Right. Now that's together. And that's together. Excellent. Get there in the end. It's only taken me fucking 54 minutes to get this far. Right. Where's my tissue? Because we all need a tissue nowadays. And then not just for crying either. Let's wipe all the grease off of the join. Right. That, bastard. That, ladies and gentlemen, is that. It's taken me that long just to put a few bearings in, a couple of screws, a few cogs, 2 halves of a chassis together. And it took me almost a fucking hour. What the fuck? Yeah, as soon as I find out who you was that said about doing a build video, Oh, knock your teeth down your throat. Right, let's see if this works. Where's my 9-volt battery? This doesn't work. I don't know what. No, just the plus is the yellow. So I'll probably get an electric shock now. Ah, look, the battery don't even work. What a wanker. Alright, let's try another battery. I've got to find a battery. There we go. Let's use a AA battery. I've got one of them in here. Yeah, no, I've got a AA. This I got from Adam's Playground. Okay, let's see if I can get that in view. Turn it upside down for you people. You need to watch this go round. Oh, look, it's upside down, so I'm working back to front. And you got a picture of my arm in the way with my tattoo on it, so bear with me people, because this is all new to me. Nope, that didn't work very well. Why can't life just be simple for once? Yep, okay, so all the cogs go around, there's nothing binding, there's nothing holding it together. So that, my friends, is part 1, sorry it took so long, of my build video. So hopefully you'll join me for part 2, when I hope it's not going to be as long as this one, when we do the suspension, and I'll show you the modification that I do to lengthen the wheelbase. So thank you very much for watching, thank you very much for putting up with my tantrum, and hopefully I'll see you all soon in the next video. Okay, thanks for watching, see you soon, bye for now.